Hello and welcome to my Kerbal Space Program video. I have just completed a bunch of World War II type aircraft that I am going to be hopefully using in an upcoming series that I want to make. And so I decided to base these off of actual World War II aircraft, and of course using mods such as procedural wings and the World War II Airplanes Plus mod and others, and also BD Armory. Now, without further ado, let's start with my favorite, the Zero. Alright, here we are with the Zero. As you can see by the left-hand screen with the BD Armory vessel switcher, this is a list of the actual aircraft that we will be looking at today. Of course, my favorite being the Zero. Using the Airplanes Plus mod for the engine and the newly updated Kerbal foundries for the wheels. As you can see, it also is sporting two wing-mounted 20mm cannon and two fuselage-mounted 50 caliber machine guns. I'm using the 50 caliber machine guns because they do a decent amount of damage, and the 7.7mm rounds just do not do enough damage in a dogfight. Now, as you can see, we have a Mark 1 cage inline cockpit, which I feel looked more Zero-ish than the actual Airplanes Plus Zero cockpit, so I'm using that. Now, one thing I noticed that in the Airplanes Plus mod, some of the engines were, well, gutless wonders, and this was one of them. Then I found out if you throw in a few extra intakes here and here on both sides, as you can see, it actually performs halfway decent. Now it's still a little lacking in power, but it's got better maneuverability. And as you can see, procedural wings make the aircraft look spectacularly nice. And the World War II Aviator's Arsenal gives us a nice communications antenna that has both the weapons manager for BD Armory and also the AI pilot, so I can have dogfighting only with one part. Now, as you can see on the bottom here, we have one single heavy mount that can be mounted either a drop tank or a bomb. I use a heavy mount so the drop tank will actually drop. And just behind that, as you can see here, is a connection port from the Kerbal attachment system. I was planning on using this also with an aircraft carrier that I designed. So that's the Zero. Now, keeping with the Japanese theme, we have a Betty bomber, roughly based on the Zero, and well, in fact, it's pretty much the Zero. It's just got another cockpit facing the other way for the gunner, which is a 30 caliber heavy machine gun, which I'm probably going to nerf so it's not overpowered. And the same things, it's just that this one has got two smaller wing mounts here and here, so I can put on some bombs. It can take off with a 1,600 pound armor piercing anti-ship bomb, and two 250-pound dumb bombs. Basically, it's the same design as the Zero, just with the extra cockpit. Now, keeping with the Pacific Theater, we have created the Vought F4U Corsair. Procedural wings, you really gotta love them. And also Kerbal foundries. Now, as you can see, it has a single heavy mount under the fuselage for a drop tank. It has, of course, in each wing, 3 50 caliber machine guns. Also, can be attached are these rocket rails, and I have them actually, well, they kind of not really lining up, but they're canted up, so when I fire the rockets, they have a better chip. Wow, that is really off. I'll have to fix that later. But it's canted up so that the rockets can fire a little bit more accurately. And another thing I have to fix that I didn't notice is the wing mount. It's got 2 wing mounts. And with this engine, it is so overpowered I had to pull the power back to 32% on the thrust limiter. And see if I can see them here, right there. I have to have an ore container just to make this aircraft even, and it's still overpowered in dogfights. So now we got the Japanese planes there, and now so we shall go and have a German aircraft. Here we have the Messerschmitt Bf 109 with the Airplanes Plus 109 engine, and again, a gutless wonder until you start putting intakes on it. And with these ram air and radial intake, they actually look more or less like the real thing. Ow. I forget the mod, but I shall put that in the description. We actually have a Bf 109 cockpit that, if we actually go into it, it is really, really nice. And if we double click on this, on the window, we have the ammo reticle. So, that is the 109. It has on it 2 wing-mounted MG 151 20mm surface mount machine guns from the aviator's arsenal, and the standard 50 caliber machine guns. And if you actually notice the rear stabilizer, it has the strut on it just like the real 109. Now, moving along, we shall go back to an American aircraft, both used in the Pacific and European theater. We have the P-38, the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. And once again, air intakes to offset for the power of the engines, procedural wings, and now we have the actual same MG 151 20mm long barrel cannon in the nose, and 4 50 caliber machine guns. Now this is what this aircraft is actually, the fuselage is actually using fire spitter parts. Now, I try not to resize cockpits when I can, so I think this came out really well. All the twin boom and everything. Oh, now let's go back to German aircraft. The Messerschmitt Me-262 jet fighter. A very, very nice fighter in the war. If it was actually deployed right, it could have really wreaked havoc on the American and British bomber force. As you can see, we have 4 Hispano Mark II 20mm cannons in the nose. And to power it, we have 2 Juno basic jet engines from the stock game. It has a single fuselage mount for a bomb, not drop tank. The aircraft, actually, World War II was decided to be made into a ground support bomber, which, well, that was a big mistake. Yeah, looking at this aircraft, I think I'm probably going to increase the size of the wings a little bit. Just a little bit. Now, those are the fighters. And, well, one attack bomber, but it's based off a fighter, so that's in with the fighters. Oh. Now let's go into something that's a little bit bigger. We have the I'm forgetting who manufactured it now. I want to say Northrop. I'm pretty sure it was Northrop. I'm pretty damn sure. Anyways, this is the Northrop B-25 Mitchell bomber, made famous by the Doolittle raid when Colonel James Doolittle and a handful of very, very brave volunteers flew a bunch of these off of the USS Hornet to bomb Japan. And the USS Hornet is an aircraft carrier. Basically, on that raid, they were stripped down to the bare minimum. All the aircraft carried, I believe, 2 bombs to land on Japan. So, here we have a decent replica. I have the KE-111 Condor cockpit and the Mark I business cockpit to give us that raised cockpit feel. On each side is a double, it's a double 50 cal pod. It's got 2 50 caliber machine guns in each. On top and below, you can see there is 50 caliber ball turrets for defense. Now, the real aircraft actually had 2 50 caliber waist guns and a dual 50 caliber machine gun in the tail. But I thought that the 2 ball turrets would be plenty for defense. And inside, I know the real one didn't have a rotisserie bomb bay, but I decided it's the best way to deliver the 500-pound bombs. We have 3,000 pounds of payload, bomb payload in here. Now the bomb bay is actually the fire spitter bomb bay, resized to go along with the resized fuselage pieces. So, now we shall go to our next aircraft, which is the German Heinkel He 111 bomber. Same rule as the B-25. It was a bomber that Germany used successfully to, well, bomb its targets in the Blitzkrieg and also to harass London. We have the same Condor cockpit because that's actually, you know, the plane that it's based off of. And we also in the back have a 109 cockpit for the tail gunner. Well, the aft dorsal gunner, I guess you can call it. Now it has a slightly bigger bomb bay than the V-25 that I made, and right now it has two 1,600-pound armor-piercing bombs in it. It can also carry 16 250-pound high explosive bombs. And if you actually look at pictures of the 111, the engines actually look like this war. Have the small intake on the top and a larger intake on the bottom, unlike the 109 that only had the intake on the bottom. Oh. Now, that is basically all the aircraft. But we have one more. It's a kind of a special aircraft. It's another B-25. If you notice at the bottom of the list here, it's a B-25-105. In World War II, someone had the infinite wisdom of placing. It was actually, I believe, a 75mm gun, but I could be mistaken. Into a B-25. So there it is, a B-25 with an M102 howitzer from the stock BD Armory game mod, and it has on each side two of the dual-mounted blister 50 caliber machine guns. Now it does not carry any bombs, even though I left the rotisserie in there because I just didn't want to take it out. But it's carrying 20 additional rounds of cannon shell. Now, this here is a good anti-shipping aircraft. So that is basically all of the aircraft that I made. I have some modern ones, but I think I'm going to do those in a different video. Then in another video, we are going to have some dogfights, putting like the 109 up against the Corsair and the Zero and, well, everything else. So I hope you look forward to those videos too. And if I can get my naval stuff figured out, because I have my aircraft pretty much all made, as you can see, and I have ground vehicles designed, and I will be focusing on those on another video. So I hope you look forward to it, and I hope I have a time and enough skill to, and well, computer processing power to bring you a brand new KSP story-based series. Thank you for watching, and have a good one. Okay, and leave it to me to forget an airplane. And, well, here we go. There is a Supermarine Spitfire, so we gotta have something from the British. We can't just have, the Americans. So, Supermarine Spitfire. We got two Hispano Mark II 20mm cannons mounted in the wing, and we also have 6 50 caliber machine guns. Underneath you can see we have the air intakes to simulate the radiators that the aircraft had. And here is one of those heavy ordnance mounts with a drop tank on it. One of the problems the real Spitfire had was its longevity in flight, which it wasn't really too much of an issue since they were fighting over their home territory. Here is another thing to make mention about the procedural wings. They actually have the elliptical wings that the Spitfire had. The middle here, in between these two joints, is actually thicker than the base, or the wing root. Was a big advantage in the real Spitfire. Oh, now that concludes all of our aircraft. So, I hope you look forward to the rest of the videos.